Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Educators Meet Talk 32nd edition, Transforming STEM Classroom with Practical Instructional Design. So, hello, everyone. So, we are live also on Facebook. So, if you have any colleagues, any fellow teachers cannot join this Zoom meeting, so they can also join through Facebook. Okay, so before we start our session today, I would like to invite Ms. Sinto Wati Sutanto as the head of teachers development of Krya Global Indonesia to deliver the welcoming remarks. So for the stage, the time is yours, Bu Sinto.
Thank you, Miss Lisa. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to Educators Meet Talk 32nd edition. Today, we gather with an inspiring theme, transforming STEAM classroom with practical instructional design. So, Educators Meet Talk is one of Krya Excellence Program for educators that support the Krya Global Vision to become a company that provides services in building creative and innovative local and global ecosystems. So first and foremost, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to all the dedicated teachers and educators joining us today from around the world. Your passion for learning and sharing best practices is what makes events like this so meaningful. We are truly honored to have three distinguished speakers who will share their expertise and insight with us today. From Malaysia, we have Dr. Umawati. Hi, Dr. Uma. Nice to
Hi.
see you again. Thank you for joining us. From Thailand, we welcome Dr. Panrasi. We really appreciate your time. And the last from the Philippines, Dr. Noel Ibis. Thank you
Hi.
for being here.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Your willingness to share your knowledge and experiences will undoubtedly inspire and equip all of us to create more engaging and effective STEAM classrooms. To our participants, get ready for an enriching session filled with practical strategies and innovative ideas. Let's learn, collaborate, and transform education together. Without further ado, let's dive into today's discussions. Thank you once again and enjoy the session.
Okay, thank you so much, Bu Sintawati, for the warm welcome. And yes, I guess we're ready to enjoy this Educators Meet Talk session. But before that, there are these 2 points of rules of Educators Meet Talk. I believe this is a common rules as well for other Zoom meetings. So the first one is please set the audio setting to be on mute during the speaker sharing to be able to um, understand more for each speaker session. So please mute the audio setting for the other participants. And then the second one, please type your question in the chat room using the following format. It's hi and then the name of the speaker. If you have any specific teacher or speakers you want to ask your question, and then I'm and then your name from country, and then it will be your question. For example, hi, Dr. Uma, I'm Lisa from Indonesia. How to build strategy in classroom related to STEAM. So that's the example. Our admin will be helping you to drop the format in the chat box so that you can copy and paste later on. Okay, so this is the only rules of our educators meet talk, and we will directly introduce our three speakers, who Sintawati already mentioned, the three distinguished speakers for today's session. And I think without further ado, we will try to welcome our first speaker for today's session. And next page. Yep. For the first speaker, we have Dr. Umawati Techana Murthy, Senior Lecturer at the Engineering Education Department, University Kebangsaan Malaysia, or UKM. So she's currently a Senior Lecturer at the Engineering Education Department, Faculty of Engineering and Built Environment, National University of Malaysia, Bangi, Malaysia. She received her PhD in Instructional Technology from University Malaya in 2018. Her PhD thesis is entitled The Development of a Flipped Classroom Module Based on Problem Solving for Community Colleges. Based on her expertise in flipped classroom and module development with industry and subject matter experts, she conducts various workshops on research methodology, AI in education, instructional technology, and module design and development. Her research interests are instructional design and engineering education and use of emerging technologies in education. So yeah, without further ado, please welcome Dr. Uma, and the time is yours, Dr.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and the organizers. I hope you all can hear my voice. So without further ado, let me start my sharing. So it's such an honor for me to be here to present on transforming STEAM classroom with practical instructional design. So this is my sharing based on my experience over the years, right? So STEM education is key to facing Industrial Revolution 4.0 and digital economy. The aim is to actually develop skilled, competitive, and innovative workforce. In Malaysia, it is part of the Malaysian Education Blueprint, as you can see here. The issue that Malaysia faces is, I think, probably similar to many countries where we are not doing really well in international benchmarks such as PISA and TEAMS. Malaysia targets 60% of students in science stream students. However, we have an issue where fewer students are opting for STEM in school and higher education. If you can see recent headlines, we are very worried about the STEM interest and STEM enrollment among our students. So there has been many research, and one recent one is to survey on STEM parents. That means parents are already in the STEM background. What are their roles in influencing children into STEM? And it was found that the most popular activities that parents do are visiting STEM-related places such as museums, science fairs, or watching STEM-focused TV, YouTube programs, and buying STEM-related toys or tools. However, the three least engaged activities are exposing children to STEM professionals, which is only 20%, enrolling children in STEM-related classes, which is 32%, and engaging in hands-on STEM activities, experiments, and projects, it's still low, 41%. And it was found that parents prefer low-cost STEM activities, and they prefer informal STEM education over very structured learning. So based on this, and also only 6% parents actually engage in STEM activities with their children. So it tells us there's a gap, that there are not, that we can actually develop good STEM activities which are low cost to increase the interest among parents and students, right? So there's this gap that we found. So how do we overcome the decline of STEM interest at schools? So To me, of course, hands-on and experimental teaching methods, they are more engaging, fosters a scientific mindset, exposing children to STEM professionals, like getting engineers into classrooms, getting doctors into classroom, exposing children to different STEM professionals, enrolling children in STEM-related classes, and more importantly, showing students how STEM concepts apply in real-world situations. However, it isn't easy because we're also facing a similar problem in universities. So what we are doing is we're trying to strengthen ties with industry to ensure curriculum relevance and job readiness. We empower our undergraduates, as you can see here, to learn under industry practitioners and get these undergraduate students to share their knowledge with the community. Right, their engineering knowledge. So this is this is something that happened last year, where I was actually called upon my dean to develop a STEM kit because I was told that there are 30 students coming from a neighborhood school to have a STEM activity. So here, this is called a paper circuit kit. You can see me and my undergraduate sitting in this is my office, my room, my very messy room. But here we are actually arranging our own STEM kit that we designed using instead of using very expensive materials, just using simple materials such as a copper tape, just to teach students basic electric and basic electronics, which is actually part of the Form 2 syllabus. That means 14-year-olds actually should be learning it in science and also in another subject called design thinking subject. All right. So this here is I managed to copyright this STEM kit. And it just recently copyrighted my STEM kit, right? So this is the event where we prepared 30 STEM kits for 30 students, and you can see these are students from a neighboring school, not even 1 kilometer away from the campus. So how did I design that? Because, we want to find out the instructional design. How did I come up with the design? So based on my PhD work, I used this thing called Merrill's First Principles of Instruction. In Merrill's First Principles of Instruction, the flow is you start with a real-world problem or a task, followed by the activation phase, where learning is enhanced with activation of prior or background knowledge, and then followed by demonstration, where we create learning opportunities through demonstration of skills or application of knowledge. And then we do the application phase, where students have the opportunity to apply the knowledge and the skill. And then we anchor new knowledge and skills by connecting to personal or professional lives, which is the integration phase. So even here, you can see me bringing real artifacts like real light bulbs to teach students this STEM concept. All right. So for example, this is, again, this is a very last 2 weeks work. So you can see it's a bit wordy, but again, we started with a problem. You're preparing for the festive celebrations and you want to hang up colorful festive lights. So in Malaysia, we call it Lampu Raya. Okay. So usually, regardless what race you are, during your festivities, you will hang up colorful lights. It's a very Malaysian thing. All right. So you have 2 different sets of lights, and as you notice, that they light up differently when something goes wrong. So there are questions, and this is how I engage the students. And then there are also activities in the STEM kit for students. For example, this one is basic problem solving, trying to troubleshoot a problem, right? And then we have more activities, demonstration, application. There's also a video that the students got to watch to see the concept of how electric flows and all. So then we come to the application part, where I gave them they had to construct a circuit on paper to light up LEDs on a name badge. So I also tried to make it a bit more fun by implementing a bit of art into STEM. So that's why we call it STEAM. So you see the basic materials have been given, and I wanted them to sketch the circuit on a piece of paper, and I told them that you must use 3 LEDs and use only the available materials. And then we got them to do the activities. And then we had we explained what happened, why copper was used, and what's the science behind it. And then we made it a bit more tougher, where we added resistors. And students got to use a resistor to control the dimness of the LED. So this is the integration phase, where the new knowledge is applied, but at a higher level, right? And Recently, I'm just very happy to share that because of my interest, I actually applied for this IEEE Tri-Engineering STEM grant, and I was awarded this grant, which gave me a funding of 2,000 US dollars. And this is the email that I received that I got the funds out of 415 applications. I was one of the few around the world that received this grant. And this grant actually gives me an opportunity to engage my students in community-based engineering projects. Yeah. So I conducted, because I wanted to actually reach the underserved communities. And in Malaysia, we have the Orang Aslis, which are the Aboriginals. And we also have B40 students who family income falls under below 1,000 USD a month. All right, so you can see that on the 18th of May, I had a program with the Orang Asli at an Orang Asli village. And on the 24th of May, which was last week, I had it at a secondary school. It's actually my secondary school. I studied in this school many years ago. So I'm alumni of this school. But this is the first time after 25 years, I'm going back to the school to conduct this program. So this is a bit about the IEEE Tri-Engineering STEM grant. So you can see this was the events that happened last year, and you can see how the volunteers have done projects on circuits, on design, on different parts of the world, yeah, from Ghana to Zambia to India, and of course Malaysia and Indonesia. So this is the poster of the project that I did in the Orang Asli village. Apologies, it's in the Malay language, but you can see here there are 3 STEM kits that my students developed for this Orang Asli group. Just to let you all know that in an Orang Asli village, we as outsiders, we are not allowed to enter in very large groups. The maximum is only 40 of us. Hence, I had to have a very small group of students who can volunteer. And because I had another lecturer from a different faculty who wanted to join in, so she brought in the Malaysian Red Crescent Society to have free health checkups for the Aboriginals. So this is a very crucial thing because they live in a quite remote village. So having a health checkup in the village itself is really important. Yeah, things that we take for granted, for them having a medical checkup in the village is really important and crucial. So these are the I would like to share with you the 3 kits we developed for the Orang Asli group. So this is a DIY vacuum cleaner, where students just use very simple products to create a vacuum cleaner. This project is on understanding Morse code, and this project is on doing a electric buzzer for a house, right? So if you can see here, also we were told that try to make it very simple for the Aboriginals. So it's a very simple project, like, you know, using buzzers to create a doorbell. Yeah, how Morse code works, and you know, this one making a DIY vacuum cleaner. These are some of the 3 STEM projects that we did. So I'm sharing with you some photos. I'm actually not allowed to show the picture of the people, but these are real, these are people from the Orang Asli community, and you can see how excited they are to learn. So at the end of this session, I will share with you the reflections that my students did after completing this project. Yeah, some very heartwarming reflections that they did. So sharing also pictures of the medical checkup, and here we are. This student was we gave prizes for everyone, but we also gave prizes for the outstanding students from the Aboriginal community as well. All right, so after that, after finishing the Orang Asli project at the Kampung Orang Asli, last week I piloted 17 different another 17 STEM kits, totally different topics at my alma mater, my former school. So this is the poster by the school, and every student brought home 1 STEM kit. It was a district level certificate because 4 schools were involved in this project, even though initially I just targeted only 1 school, but the teacher suggested that, we can get about 100 students from 4 different schools, which I welcomed that idea. So I'm sharing with you some photos. So here you can see this group using a solar panel. Yeah, so you can see the students are doing really hands-on projects. Okay, so this was just conducted last Saturday. Yeah, some of the photos. And we piloted 17 STEM kids. So I also like to share, prior to doing this, I also invited a friend. She's from Australia, and she actually runs STEM programs in Australia for the Aboriginals. And she conducted a 1-hour session with my students online, and she shared with us. So her name is Yen Nguyen Xiao, and she shared with us the 5E model of instruction. All right. So she shared with us how this 5E model of instruction can be used to design STEM kits, right? So we can see the first phase. It's actually quite similar to the Merrill First Principles of Instruction, which I used for my PhD. However, my students, but because I had her to come over to my class online, so I got my students to test out this model, and it worked really well as well. So in the engage phase, which is very similar to the activation phase in Merrill's First Principles of Instruction, is to get the students' interest, ask them to, get them to make connections with what they already know. All right. And then explore through hands-on activities, identify real questions, get them to explore, explain the vocabulary, give them direct instruction, and then get them to do a project. Yeah. And then finally evaluate them, see whether, they understand the concept, and ask them to reflect on the STEM kit itself. So this is one STEM kit we had, which was building your own telescoping periscope. So this is actually a concept already taught to 14-year-olds in school. Yeah. So we can see, yeah. So this is how it was done in the school. The students actually developed their own periscope using mirrors and all. So we had to purchase all the items to do the STEM kit. So this is how the 5E flow worked. The 5E concept was used in this project. So the students shared that they explained the history and real-life applications of periscopes through storytelling, and then there was an activity where the students actually had to look for hidden objects using mirrors, and then there was questions, on light and reflection. After that, students were given the telescoping periscope kit, and through guided discovery, they assembled it themselves. This hands-on experience encourages them to observe how the mirror angles affect the field of view, and then they grasp the basic physics through direct interaction. And with support from facilitators, students discuss their findings, and they receive lessons on how light travels, how light reflects. They had visual aids, they had analogies and real-world examples to understand the principles of optical principles. Right. And in Elaborate, students were encouraged to modify the tube length, experiment with different materials. Yeah. And then finally, there was a reflection, group discussion. There were also quizzes already in the STEM kit, so that students can, so that we could actually check the students' understanding. Right. So that was the evaluation phase. Are there any questions so far, Lisa? Any questions so far?
So far, we will keep all the questions during the Q&A, Ms. Uma.
All right. So this is another project that I want to share about a handmade water dispenser. So you can see their activities, and these are actually taught in in Form 2 syllabus, in the Malaysian syllabus. But the only difference was we did hands-on experiments, which was very important, that not all schools, what we found out was not all schools actually do experiments in school. A lot of them just depend on the textbook. So that's why when we piloted these STEM kits, a lot of teachers were really, really happy and excited. And some of them went and asked my students, can we buy it from yours? So I told my students, yeah, okay, we will do the proper procedure of firstly getting an IP for all these products. Once we get in an IP, and then we can get the faculty to, make nicer boxes and everything, and then we can sell it at a low price, of course, not really to gain a lot of what do you call profit, but really to help people in the community. So here, this is their 5E plan. So they begin with a short demo on how sailboats work and why wind power is used for that, and make them curious how the boat floats. Okay, I hope I probably this is the wrong 5E plan, but I think this is another group where they did a sailboat. Yeah, I think this is the wrong 5E plan, which I pasted. I got confused with the blue color. So this group was really cool. They got their students to actually design their own sailboat using very simple materials, ice cream sticks, and explain the concept of air, force, and resistance. And they even bought a 1 meter long what do you call a pond, a 1 meter long pond, and we did that activity in the school. So you can see how their 5E plan works. Yeah. So this is another one, which is the Morse code. So this is something that maybe people would have forgotten. Morse code was actually used in the military, and these kids got the students to do the project. So this is so the main goal is actually to construct basic circuits, which is taught already, and why circuits are useful in real life, and how Morse code uses short signals and long signals to represent letters and numbers. So students, they were told about the history and basic structure of Morse code, introducing them to the dots and the dashes, which represent different letters and numbers. And then students, during Explore, students tried to decode a word into Morse code and translate back the Morse sequences into text. So there were games that the students played. So this group really did really well by engaging the students. And then after that, they clarify how the Morse code translates into electrical signals and understand how each component of the circuit plays a specific role. And then they learn how to fix a buzzer, and how the copper tape, which instead of using wires, we used copper tape, and how you can use a switch to let electricity flow. And then students replace the buzzer with an LED, and to create a visual signal instead of create a visual one instead of just an auditory one. And they had a lot of questions, and so this is their 5E. This group did really, really well. So this is another group. They also did a DIY doorbell. Again, so this is the step-by-step procedures. You can see this group was a bit creative. They had put a lot of pictures because they wanted to let the kids understand visually. So this was also something that Nguyen Xiao shared with them. Reduce the text, increase more photos when you're doing a STEM kit. So not very clear, but and it's also in the Malay language, but I think this group followed the engagement, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate flow really well. So there are other groups as well, but I really don't want. So this is the sailboat group where these are the questions to evaluate the students. So what we did was we did a pre-test and a post-test. So when the students first came to the group, they got to answer questions, and then we took the scores. And then we took the scores after it, and most of the students actually showed an improvement, which is good, really good. So you can see some of the activities here. And this is the 5E plan. Begin with a short demo on how sailboats work and why wind power is used. Make them curious by asking such questions. What makes a boat float and move? Why does the shape or weight matter? Connect with their school syllabus. So this is something that this group did. And then assign students into small groups, design and build model sailboats using the provided materials. Ask students what could influence their boat's stability and movement. And then lead a discussion with students to explain the different scientific concepts, such as why some boats floated better, how wind affected, why some boats were more faster, why some boats are more stable, all right? And then tie it with geography, technology, even history. So this is how, my students could see the 5E flow, and finally evaluated the students using simple quizzes, right? So this is another group. They did basic DIY water filter. So this group really showed the importance of clean water and using materials such as activated charcoal, sand cores, and gravel. So all these materials, we actually purchased it on Shopee and we packaged it into a steam kit. All right. So for engagement, they showed this poster on how 2.2 billion people lacked access to safely managed water services. We showed how water is so scarce in actually, especially in war-torn countries. So this is to engage the students to gain their attention. And then the students taught them how cotton, activated charcoal, sand, and gravel were used as filter, and how these materials can be combined to create a filter layer, and then explain how each layer actually, contains all the materials, and told them how it works and evaluated them. All right. So this is another group. They did a mini hydroelectric kit. So again, you can see, some of the questions. Of course, it's very similar to my initial structure, at least because you must understand that these students are not education background students. They are electrical engineering students. So for them to do this, it is not easy. So I had to model it, how to do it, and they followed it. So I would like to share some of the reflections before I end this session. For example, I asked this question: how did working with the Orang Asli students change your perception of STEM education in rural communities? So I'm going to give you all about a couple of minutes to read this So just have a look at the reflection. A very heartwarming, very touching, right? So actually, I have 109 students. So when I went through a lot of their reflections, I ended up crying because I think they really valued this experience. So this is another reflection, also in the Orang Asli village. So please have a look at it. Yeah, so yeah, even now reading this gives me tears. Okay, this one I think was in the secondary school. So being engineering students, they do not really have much opportunities to work with the community. So I'm really glad that I applied for this research grant and I'm able to give that opportunity for the students. So you can see how the engineering students, they always felt that they were awkward with children, how to handle this and that. But you can see at the end of the project, it really changed the way, their perceptions and their experience. So this is another reflection. So you can see, to be honest, I thought the program was just simply to teach the kids and go home. But after completing the program, my view changed entirely. I learned a lot of things, so you can see. So that's all, Lisa. I have to that I'll be sharing. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Uma, for the
Yeah.
sharing. Yeah, it's really nice. Like, the 5E model of instruction is really interesting. Like, I would love to learn more as well from you. Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing and also sharing the experience working with engineering students as well. So it's really inspiring. So all the best for the projects.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So yeah, we have our first speaker already. Hopefully, everyone here get some inspirations, and I have got mine as well. Like I would like to implement some of the values that Dr. Uma shared just now to some of our activities. So yeah, thank you so much. And the next one, we will move to the second speaker for today's session. We have Miss Panrasi Riti Pravat, founder of AI Taigen. Hopefully, I pronounce it correctly. So, Miss Panrasi Riti Pravat received a Doctoral of Engineering degree in Mechanical Engineering from King Mongkut's University of Technology, Thonburi in 2005. Her research interests include artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, and medical image processing. She won several international and national innovation awards for her research projects. Moreover, she has several patents and firing patents. Current research project involve applying AI technology to medical applications and educational technology. She has developed an AI learning platform named AI Taigen, and there are more than 40,000 users registered and using this platform in schools and universities. So as for now, please welcome Miss Panrasi with us. And the time is yours, Miss.
Thank you. So let me share slide.
Yes.
All right. I hope. So, Pandrasi Retiprawat, and actually, I'm a professor from Mahidol University in Thailand, and my background is actually engineering. I'm AI expert and pretty interested to develop AI in medicine and also AI for education. And I would this talk I would like present what I did in Thailand and still keep doing. And it's actually about how to apply AI Thaigen, which is my research project. It is the AI learning platform, and to use it in a school and how is the success of using my technology. So basically, this research is actually more than over, like, I think it's around 4 years. And it's okay because of I realized that technology is growing, and of course I think we need to develop digital skill AI skills for the children, in which I know that AI technologies grow very quickly. However, when you would like to train or teach AI to the student, probably you would are facing with the problem like when you teach like coding is like lots of English, lots of mathematics inside. So the key concept is that how do we teach them in the way that they feel fun and they can learn fast and it's friendly for them. So this is the key idea, and why I develop AI Thaigen. So you see, basically, we try to develop to serve a Thai student, but of course, we would like to explore to international countries. So if you guys would like to use it, probably you can access very simple, like you can use tablet, PC, and go to the website aitaigen.in.th. And I will have a video demo to see the whole like big pictures of what AI Taigen can do. So this is like the video demo. So right now we have like around 44,000 users registered to the platform, and we basically have several tools to teach AI. Like this one we call Creative AI. So just only 4 blocks, students can learn about AI technologies. And this is the tools when I would like to teach about the image processing. So just few blocks, they understand how to do the image segmentation. And this is the tool for data analytics. So basically, you can adjust parameters and see the effects of the decision line. And we can map from the block of flow programming to the text programming. And we actually run many workshops and train students in the school in order to develop our platform to be better and better. And we also integrate with the several microcontroller, so students can do science project very quickly, like how to control motor. They can write program very quickly. So right now, we actually can integrate with around 10 microcontrollers. And last year, I have an opportunity to help digital economy promoting agency, we call DEPA, in order to run the training programs in 8 provinces. And there are around 1,500 schools in that program. So when I run that workshop, what we call is like a boot camp, is 2-day boot camp. Students apply to have a training, and in the first day, we train around 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. After that, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., they have to build something, the prototype, to show their idea in order to solve problems that we give them the themes for solving. For example, smart farming related problems, or helping society's problem, future trend problems, like that. So these photos like show that what they develop in the first day, and then in the second day, they have to present their own projects and select the representative to promote or to present again in the on the stage, the big stage. And we select the representative from each area to run the coding walls. And that part we have like around 3,000 students and teachers to participate in that training. And with that opportunity, so many teachers knows about the AI learning platform that we develop. And we have an opportunity to train AI Kaizen to the teachers. So if I would like to summarize, how do we apply to the schools? What I would say is that start with the government support. So without the government support, it's pretty hard in order to promote, right, and distribute to like many schools. The second thing we have to do is that we have to develop curriculums. What I did is I and my team, university professor, help developing 12 curriculums serving like grade 1 to grade 12. and then we train the trainer. So the trainer understand how to use AI, how to teach AI, how to apply AI. So this is like one tools in my platform. So we teach about AI literacy using the deepfake technology. The student can drag and drop someone photo from the internet to overlay their face. So the student understand immediately that, oh, we have to aware about having photos in the internet because someone may use your photos to do something appropriate, right? So we start with games or fun activities before we teach them. And then this is what we real class in Thailand. A teacher sent to me, you will see that students learn by doing. They understand the theory later, but they have to like hands-on or trying to explore, feel fun, and then we can teach them very easily. That is the key for implementation. And after that, we challenge them to create a project to help society, to help people. Some problem that is related to their maybe a village, their schools, up to them. So this is the project that they develop and send back to me to show that how success of their implementation. One of the primary school in actually Khon Kaen province, they send the project that student can develop like smart bin. So they develop the garbage classification and open the bin correctly. So the user can drop the garbage in the proper way, right? Another project is like smart farming. So students try to find the way to apply AI to help growing the plants or take caring the plants. Also, I just got the yesterday. The event is still active in Malaysia now as well. Some of Thai students like promote their invention and compete in the invention competition. The middle photos is actually in the event right now. So one of the student group used AI Thaigen to develop the technology in medical application. So I think we can show that students not only understand, but be able to apply their knowledge to solve in the real problem. And I think this is the way that I would say that it's success from my point of view. Okay. So we have lots of partners right now, and also looking for the partners like international partners from Indonesia, Malaysia, or where. Yeah, please come and join our team to help us develop the good tools and implement in your country. I think that would be the great step that we can work together. And of course, we just got an award from Vietnam and also award in Thailand. And here is my contact. In case that you would like to contact me, feel free to contact because I'm looking for the partner that we can share and also work together to build a community. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Panrazi, for the sharing. It's really nice, like how the students and also the teachers engage through the platforms that you created. So hopefully, the other educators in Indonesia, in the Philippines, in Malaysia as well, and also from other countries who join our educators meet talk through the Zoom or through Facebook, they can also get to know more about AI Taichen. Okay, thank you so much for the sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, now we already have two speakers with us with their inspiring sharing of the implementations of the good practices that they have done. We still have our last but not least speaker coming from the Philippines. Okay, we have Dr. Noel V. Ibis. He's a certified learning facilitator recognized by the National Educators Academy of the Philippines, and his exemplary contributions to education have earned him the Outstanding Metro Bank Teacher Award, which provided him with a scholarship in Australia, further enhancing his leadership skills and teaching competencies. He continues to inspire educators at various levels, schools, district, division, and national, by fostering a culture of excellence and lifelong learning. As a researcher, Dr. Noel focuses on metacognition, chemistry education, philosophy, and educational psychology, ensuring these concepts are effectively communicated to fellow research enthusiasts. So without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Noel, and the time is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Lisa. And of course, I would like to greet also my co-speakers, Dr. Uma and Dr. Panrasi, and to all of our participants who are joining us in this meet talk. So it's just an honor for me to be part of this engagement. So allow me then to present my slide presentation. So I'm sharing my presentation, so I'd like to check it if it's okay. Slide.
Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Noel, and I'm from the Philippines, and most of my context would basically focus on my work as the education program supervisor in science in our division in Camarines Norte, called as SDO Camarines Norte. And my presentation would basically focus on these key areas. Number one is the science curriculum in our context, in our country. And I'm sure some of you could also relate what's the curriculum framework that we're actually using in order for us to improve and transform STEAM classroom with practical instructional design. Then I will also be presenting some of my initiatives, our initiatives in our division with the support of our superintendent and our leaders relative to transforming education in our country. Then I'll be looking at some programs and initiatives that were implemented in our division, which other educators can also implement this, for which we believe could help everyone in transforming our STEAM classroom with some practical instructional design. And hopefully, at the end of my presentation, I can provide actionable solutions and strategies in our context, of course, from the Philippines. And my last would be my takeaways. Okay. Now, as I have mentioned, I would like to share with you our context in the Philippine context in our country, that we are anchored, or we are always guided with the framework in the K-12 basic education. Because for the information of everybody, it was only in 2013 when a law has passed in our country in order to improve further the basic education in our country. There's this law which is called as RA 10533 that strengthens further the basic education curriculum, increasing from 10 years to 12 years. That's why we have the K-12 curriculum. And we anchor our initiatives to the K-12 basic educational framework. The one that you see on the left side is the framework that we use across the country, okay, which are given by the Department of Education from the central office down to the regional office, to the school's division offices, and to the school learning action cell or the school. So we follow this framework as we implement the basic education curriculum in the country. And the one that you see on the left side is, of course, the framework that we use insofar as science education is concerned. And the enduring question that most educators in our country is this one. What's the goal of the science education? So as science supervisor, we are always guided with what's the goal of the science education, because from this goal, we align our initiatives, we align our programs and our mini projects in the different schools, in the different districts, and hopefully with the end of mind of helping the Department of Education to achieve the goal of science education. So basically, we want our learners to be the development of scientifically, technologically, and environmentally literate and productive members of the society. So that's the ultimate goal of science education in our country. We want our learners to be scientifically, technologically, environmentally literate, and productive members of the society. That is why we involve them during the course of the teaching and learning process. And it's being reflected in the picture that's being shown in the slide deck presentation. Now, when we speak of scientifically and technologically environmentally literate learners, we mean specific characteristics that learners should possess as we develop them to become holistic learners. So what are the characteristics of the so-called scientifically and technologically environmentally literate learners? We expect them to possess critical and creative thinking, or we want them to become critical and creative thinker. Another is we want to develop them to become effective communicator, informed decision maker. We want also our learners to become innovative and inventive thinker. And of course, at the end of this process, we want them to become responsible stewards of our nature. So these are the characteristics that we want to develop among our students in order for us to help in the attainment of the science education in our country. And in order to attain this science goal in the country, there are three specific domains that we anchor or that we use in order for us to develop the so-called 21st century learner, holistic learner, and these are as follows. Number one is demonstrating scientific inquiry skills. Two is understanding and applying scientific knowledge. And three is developing and demonstrating scientific attitudes and values. So if we are to deal them one by one, when we speak of understanding and applying scientific knowledge, we mean the specific subjects that our students should learn, and this would include, of course, earth and space, biology, physics, chemistry. These are the core subjects that our students need to understand in order for them to come up with an understanding of the different scientific knowledge in the basic education curriculum. Then, of course, number two domain in teaching science is demonstrating scientific inquiry skills. And we mean this different scientific process skills such as classifying, communicating, comparing and contrasting, creating models, gathering and organizing data, measuring and observing, and predicting. So this are the basic process skills that our students should demonstrate in order to help them to become productive citizens of our country. And of course, along with this line is the need for us to develop and demonstrate attitudes and values. And among these values and attitudes that our learners should possess are as follows. One is reliability, testability, accuracy, precision, generality, and of course, simplicity of concepts. And finally, we have heuristic approach. So these are only some of the values and attitudes that we want to develop among our students. And as you can see, these three domains that I'm talking, we have developing and demonstrating scientific attitudes, and the specific concepts that the students should learn work hand in hand in order to achieve or to reach that goal in science education, which I have mentioned a while back. And in order for us to ensure that the goals or the goal of science education is achieved, the teachers that we teach, the train in the different schools should ensure that these approaches, these principles and instructional design should be utilized. And I'm sure everybody could relate to these approaches. One is multi or interdisciplinary approach. This involves the integration within science disciplines and across the different learning areas, which I'm sure our teachers in the ASEAN region also use the same perspective that they have to integrate the different concepts, not only with a few subjects in the educational arena, but different learning areas should intertwine in order to have a full grasp of what science education is all about. Then we have also this approach called a science, technology, society, or contextual learning, wherein it involves the application of science concepts, the processes, the principles, and laws within the context of real life situations. So I I I I have seen one of, I guess it's Dr. Uma who mentioned that there's really a need for our students to be exposed in real life context. And that is also true to our country, wherein we allow them to use these principles in real life context, because it's all pointless if our students could not apply those concepts that were learned in the four corners of the classroom. So this has to be applied in real life context. Of course, number three is problem solving or issue-based problem, where it involves challenges of our students to create and implement in measures to address problems and issues in the world around them. So it's not just about learning these concepts, posing a problem, but they should be able to come up with a solution to this problem and provide actionable solutions with an impact, not only with the community, but with impact with the global perspective. So that's one of the approaches that we use in the classroom. So we have problem and issue-based learning. Then we have also the inquiry-based approach, which Dr. Umas mentioned a while back, the 5 E's and the 7 E's, which I will be sharing also a bit of that. So it's more of the use of evidence in constructing explanations and ideas in the classroom. So we have to enable our students to come up with these ideas that they understood in the classroom and be able to construct an explanations from these ideas that they have learned from their professors or from their mentors. It's very important that from this explanation or from this information, they should be able to construct ideas or meaning out of that, because if they will just learn it by merely reading what's in the textbook and couldn't apply it in other contexts, then basically the science education is pointless. And this is how we do it in our context here in the Philippines. Then there are also underlying principles and theories wherein we anchor our teaching, our practices in the field. So one, of course, we have the constructivism, wherein we allow our learners to construct knowledge and meaning from their experiences. Then we have also social cognition learning model, wherein learners learn through interaction with the culture. Okay, it's good that we have this kind of platform, because it's enabling us to interact with other culture, with the environment, with the use of technology, and through that we learn a lot and we gain a different perspective that we could possibly implement in our own in our country or in other part of the globe. Then we have also learning style theory, wherein learners perceive the process information and understand, create scientific knowledge according to a particular style of learning. Okay, then we have brain-based theory, wherein learners are exposed to the teaching and learning process that strike the balance between the left and the right brain. So these are all principles or theories that we use in the classroom teaching learning situation, and this can only materialize with the kinds of training that we provide among our teachers. Now, with these theories and principles, along with these theories that I have mentioned, we need to ensure that these are in place and that it has meaning on the context of our teachers, so that at the end of the day, learners will be benefited from it. And so, my dear educators, we are banking on some pedagogical shifts in science teaching. And one of the shifts that we are using is that we believe that learners should be provided with learning opportunities to understand the basic concepts using inquiry skills. Here in our country, in the Philippines, science concepts, the teaching of science concepts started in grade 3, but there's this integration from grades 1 to 2. But the formal teaching of science concepts started in grade 3 in the basic education. But in the special curriculum, we have this special science curriculum in our country. It's a specialized curriculum wherein as early as grade 1, we provide the learning opportunities for our students to have a grasp of the basic science concepts using science inquiry skills. So in order for us to ensure that our learners are being given with the basic skills, we have this enhanced science from grade 7 to 10. Then we have also research 1 to 4. This is all in the science program. Then we have grade 7. We have also research 1 to 7. Then we have also ICT or information communications technology, wherein these are being given to grades 1 to 7. And as early as grade 7, also we integrate the robotics and creative technology in order for us to at least ensure that the basics of science concepts using these inquiry skills are being given to our students. Then there are also additional subjects from grade 7 to 10 in the special curriculum, wherein extended of understanding, like we provided consumer chem, earth and space, and biotechnology as additional subjects in grades 7 to 10. Then number 2 is learners are allowed to exhibit scientific attitudes and values to solve problems critically and innovate beneficial products and protect the environment and conserve resources and enhance the integrity and wellness of people and make informed decisions. So we have also some activities in the division level and even in the school level and district level, wherein we engage our students to different activities that will enable them to develop their scientific attitudes. Like we have this estimazing, wherein it's actually an activity for our students in the STEM program, wherein there's a certain problem that's being given to them, a challenge given to them, then they will be given 2 hours to develop a paper and provide actionable solutions in order to solve a problem. So these pictures that you are seeing now are some of the examples of this amazing that we've done, a division activity wherein we allow our students to innovate and come up with actionable solutions to the problems that we challenge to solve, or for them to solve. Then we have also this activity, it's a division science and technology fair, when we invited also some experts from the university, allowing them to share their best practices and their insights about how we can come up with a good research that are beneficial to our community. And these are being participated by students and teachers in order for them to at least understand the rigors of doing research. And the one that you see at the upper part of the slide deck presentation, this was done during the pandemic. So even at the height of the pandemic, we ensure that learning has to continue. We use different digital platforms in order to ensure that the activities and the initiatives of the division is being undertaken well. Okay, of course, with the help of our teachers and the different members of the technical working group. Then just recently, we involve our teachers into a training wherein we capacitate them to at least engage into robotics activities. Okay, we purchased some of robotic kits, and we invited some of our key teachers in the division, with pool of teachers who are knowledgeable about coding and some basic concepts and robotics. And we pull these people together and come up with a training, and we involve our science teachers in the different districts. There were actually 4 batches in this training, wherein the students or the teachers were challenged to come up with a kit, okay, a 2-wheel Arduino car from the robotic kits that we purchased from the budget that were given to us by our superintendent. So our teachers here are so happy with the training that they have had in terms of the robotics. So again, we also provided them, in order for us to ensure that there's this transformation of a STEAM classroom using practical design. We also involved them in some seminar workshops. The one that you've seen here is actually a training about spectrum, wherein some of our teachers are involved into some practical laboratory activities, like they do some sort of titration in chemistry, while the middle is more of biology, and this one is about in physics. So these are some of the initiatives that we are actually doing in order to ensure that transformation of the classroom, the STEM classroom, is being undertaken, even if we have issues about non-availability of some sophisticated gadgets. So we provided them with this other options in order for them to at least, even if there's no available materials, we still provided them with trainings and seminars that they need to have in order to ensure that at the end of the day, our learners are being given the preferential attention insofar as improving the teaching of science concept is concerned in the classroom. So this is what I'm saying earlier. So there's this training we call it as Spectrum, the science practices and enhanced collaboration in tools, research, and measurement. So we combine understanding some basic tools and equipments that were not used or that even utilized in the teaching and learning classroom, because in some far-flung areas here in our division, some of our teachers don't even know how to use some gadgets or some equipment. So we provided them with trainings in order for them to at least use this equipment well, so that at least we can leverage the practice here. Then we tie it up with some research basic findings, or like new researches, pedagogical researches. And a part of that is we also asked our teacher participants to develop some assessment type questions that will enable them to understand better what science education is all about. Then also, we engage our learners in discussions of relevant issues that involve science, technology, and environment. So here we have this group we call it as YESO, Youth for Environment in Schools Organization. It's a mandate program by the Department of Education, wherein we allow our students to be part of a cleanup drive, mangrove plantation, waste management, segregation awareness campaign. We have also some tree planting or establishment of some nursery, and we involve them into youth camp and fun-filled activities so that we can balance the concepts or the experience that they have to have in the classroom and the one that they have to experience even the classroom, even outside the classroom, because we believe that science teaching has to be fun, science teaching has to be engaging, and we can only do that if they are being part of these activities. Then you see also some photos in action here wherein our students are involved into tree planting activities, even in the campus, or even outside the campus. Okay, waste segregation also. Then we have some recycling techniques, bottles, which were used as fence in some of the campuses or some of the classrooms here in our division. Okay, and the one that you see here is about tree planting of mangrove in some of areas here in our province. Okay, so it's a good thing that our students are also involved into taking good care of our environment, because as I've said earlier, one of the goals of science education is responsible stewardship. Now, in terms of pedagogical skills or concepts, as I've mentioned earlier, it's in grade 3 wherein we introduce science concepts, and from grade 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up to 8, there's this increasing of skills that they need to develop, from the basic process skills to integrated process skills. Like in grade 3, they have to develop or acquire habits about self with the use of observing, communicating, and comparing. So with that, the learners could be able to value science as an important tools. And after that, they have to develop scientific knowledge or concepts. The end of grade 6, we are expecting that our students should perform a simple investigation using appropriate materials or procedures or tools. So that's how we do it as part of the instructional framework that we use in the implementations of science education in the country. So starting with the simple concept in science from grade 3 to grade 6. So at the end of this, we want to ensure that our students in grade 6 should be able to determine relationships, should be able to draw conclusions, and should be able to communicate ideas in varied ways, so that they can make meaningful experiences or meaning on the observations or the changes that occur in the environment. So that's in terms of the concepts that we have to give among our students. Then this is what Dr. Umas mentioned a while back. We also use this 5E instructional model in the lesson planning of our teachers. So we are as the supervisor, I need to ensure that the 5E learning model are used in the classroom. So we have the engage, the explore, the explain, elaborate, and evaluate. So I need to ensure that both 7Es and 5Es, 5Es in the elementary and 7Es is in the secondary. So I need to ensure that these 7Es, which Dr. Ahmad mentioned a while back, are in place in terms of lesson planning, because it all started with the lesson planning. So I need to ensure that it is being captured in the 4 sequence or domain or strands per quarter. So we have matter, living things in the environment, force, motion, and energy, earth, and space. So when they design lesson plan, I need to ensure that I need to double check that all those 7 E's which I have mentioned, the 5 E's, engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate, and elaborate, are all in place in the lesson planning, so that we can ensure that when they prepare the instructional materials, it's aligned with the lesson plans that they have crafted, down to the execution of the lesson planning and to the assessment. I need to ensure that all of these elements are congruent with each other, from the lesson planning to the feedback. So that's the importance of making use of the 7 E's and the 5 E's instructional design in science teaching. And of course, I've said so much about this, the inquiry-based teaching. It's a concept that we ensure that it's a student-centered. It emphasizes critical thinking, problem solving, students actively involved in the questioning and the planning to conduct an experiment. Then we enable the learners to control their learning, called the self-regulation, and develop a deeper understanding on the studying the concept. So these are all key features of inquiry-based learning, which I'm sure our educators, science educators, would agree that these are very essential, very relevant in so far as teaching science class or science teaching is concerned. And I need to ensure that when our teachers are teaching in the classroom, I need to check whether the learners are engaged in scientifically oriented questions, that learners are given the priority to evidence. So it's not just about they've been presented with the evidence by the teacher. So that's why during the observation, we need to check these elements are present. We need to ensure that learners formulate the explanation based on the evidence. They need to check whether learners evaluate their explanations in the light of the alternative explanations. And we need to ensure that learners communicate and justify his explanation. These are some of the features that we checked, we observed, we monitor during our visit to the different schools here in our province. There are 300 plus schools in the elementary, wherein we need to check from the 77. There are 77 secondary schools, 256 elementary schools, and 14 integrated schools. So as a supervisor, I need to ensure that our science teachers are using this and are checking this from time to time and make some reflections on what they're actually doing in the classroom. These are some of our initiatives in the division in order to foster a culture of continuous improvement. This project was ICON on eSTEM. It's in disciplinary contextualization on enhanced science and technology in engineering and mathematics through the integration of research, robotics, science education, and community of practice. And a part of that, I also introduced this program in the division called Project Clean. So similar to what I've mentioned earlier, the YESO, but I call it as clean. It's collaborative leadership now, because I need to ensure that the district supervisors and school heads in the different schools, which I have mentioned, are into collaborating with the different schools in order to ensure that there's this eco-friendly activities and alternative practices in nurturing workplace. Then we have also STEMifying the curriculum, okay, in grade 7 in the STE program, and in the SSES in the special curriculum for elementary, we have grades 1 to 6. And as I've said, we integrate research, robotics, and community of practice. Now, as part of my accountability as a school leader, we also provide technical assistance to our leaders, to our school leaders, because we believe that our school leaders play a pivotal role to ensure that the different programs and activities that we give to them are well in place. So we have this project help, We coordinated with the public schools district supervisors in order for them to ensure that this program is in place. We conducted focus group discussion, and we allowed them to share their practices in the provision of enhanced support in the management of disaster preparedness, mitigation resiliency, and district learning action cell. Then I have this project which I've launched in the division called the Project Laser. It's leveraging academic achievement through scientific engagement and research. These are all in place, and we've been implementing this for the past 3 years. And after it has been implemented for at least 5 years, I need to revisit whether I am targeting the objective, because if it's not, then I have to revise some of the objectives which I have stated here. Okay, so again, with Project Laser, we involve some of the teams in training our teachers, reskilling them. We revisit and check our core competencies, the curriculum guide that the Department of Education has given to us. Then we are also continuing and sustaining the programs that I have mentioned earlier, the Division Science and Technology Fair. Then we also conduct learning action cell in the different schools. Then we have this scaling up of science competencies and capabilities, when we train our teachers and our master teachers. Okay. Then there's this ongoing intensification of the special elementary science program in the division, wherein more schools are being encouraged in order to open or to provide special curriculum for our students who are really inclined into doing STEM projects, or who have these skills or competencies or expertise that are leaning to science, engineering, and mathematics. Okay, then we also use, as part of our initiatives in the division, we utilize, of course, current and research-based practices along team-based approach. We have communities of practice, inquiry-based approach, the design thinking, which Dr. Uma mentioned earlier, the problem-based approach, the language as a tool for science in teaching. We always anchor our initiatives in the division to ensure that we are really helping the Department of Education to improve our practices in our schools division of Camarines Norte. And just recently, I involved myself into doing a research, and this is what I found out. The reason why our STEM education is quite doing well in our division is because of the parental involvement that the parents were involved in the activity. So there are regular meetings. We have parent-led initiatives. Then there's the success impact stories of our parents and guardians. Then we establish a partnership with our stakeholders, collaboration with the local government unit in our community. Then we tap some colleges and universities and laboratories, especially when our students are involved into doing technical research. Okay, then building a partnership with the stakeholders, also collaboration. So there seems to be a direct relationship between the parental involvement and building a partnership with the LGU in order to nurture scientific science research. Okay, the integration of research methodologies in the SSES as early as elementary. Then we have annual division robotics fair. We have publication of our compendium of researches in our division of Camarines Norte. Then, of course, along with this line, along with what we've been doing in our own simple ways in our division, we celebrate quick wins, and that is why we are glad and we are happy to share with you our quick wins. Just 2 years back, we joined the Creativity Innovation Award in King Mongkut's University in Bangkok, Thailand, wherein two of our schools here, Vincent's Pilot and Basud, won the competition. Then also we have joined some research engagement with the SEMU Young Scientists, which was held last June 14, in Penang, Malaysia. Then these are the members of the team with our superintendent, Sir Cristito Morcilla. And of course, we have also joined some activities across the Asian region as part of ASEAN integration. Then just recently, We've won also we participated also in the International Creativity and Innovation Award in Vietnam. That's why we're so thankful that we were given this opportunity to be part of this engagement. So these are some of our activities that we've been doing in our division. And finally, I would like to emphasize that transforming the STEM classroom through purposeful instructional design is not merely a trend. It's a necessity to prepare our learners to become dynamic, to become globally competitive. Can only do this, of course, as a supervisor in our division. We align our pedagogical strategies with the real world applications. Okay, we benchmark from the different schools in the different ASEAN integration. We integrate interdisciplinary approaches and we leverage our digital tools. So even if at some point kulang po we lack some of the materials, but we ensure that our teachers are being given the necessary skills and competencies by providing them with trainings. And we believe as a supervisor that instructional design allow educators, our teachers, to be more creative, to look beyond what's traditional that been using in the classroom, so that at the end of the day, they can provide meaningful and learning experiences amongst our students that develop critical thinking, foster creativity and collaboration, and of course, problem-solving skills among our students. So again, thank you very much, Krya, for inviting me, and it's a privilege to be sharing some of our initiatives here in our school's division of Camarines Norte. So for on behalf of our superintendent, Dr. Cristito Morcilla, and our assistant superintendent, Sir Joel Kaolboy, and of course, our chief in the curriculum, Dr. Emma Soriana. Thank you very much, Krya, for inviting us and to be part of this educators meet talk and share something that we are actually doing in our division. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat po sa inyo.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Noel, for the sharing. Yep. Okay. So I guess we will be doing the next session, which is it's the question and answer time. We have collected some questions from the registration form completed by our participants, and our team has already chosen 3 questions. So maybe we will directly see the first question coming from Mr. Maulana Abdul Malik from Regina Pacis Junior High School, Jakarta, Indonesia. And the question is how to make a written exam involving, I guess, in the field of STEAM. So this question is open for any speakers, but maybe I would like to invite Dr. Uma first, if you have any ideas or maybe anything that you have implemented before or related to this question.
Okay. Okay. I hope I hope I understand the question well. How to make a written exam by STEAM? Maybe if is Mr. Maulana here? Maybe he can rephrase the question.
I believe he joined. Yes, Mr. Maulana is here. Hi, Mr. Maulana. Do you want to explain or elaborate more of your question? I guess it's related to like how to evaluate the process through written exam. But let's see if Mr. Maulana is able to turn on the microphone and elaborate more. Okay, I think he's still idle here. Maybe you can just share.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So if we use the 5E model, so there is this evaluation part. To me, it's not only testing about the knowledge, You can also ask about the experiences, like what worked, what didn't work, what you could have done better. I think that would be a very good way of a written exam if you are using a STEM kit. So this is what my students did as well. They not only asked questions which are, the concepts, but they also got feedback in how to improve the experience, how you do it differently if you were to give it another chance, this kind of questions. So I think that's a good way if you were to do a written exam for STEAM. Okay.
Overall, like in your kit, I saw that there is this, well, what is it, like activity worksheets, right? I think that's also part of written observation or evaluation that can be used by teachers to observe as well, right?
True. So that is something that I made compulsory for the STEM kits that we developed. So maybe if I were to share the screen, if I can share my screen again, I can
Sure.
show you samples of evaluations. Just give me a minute. Okay. So just these are some of the STEM kits that I have. So let's look at Super Maria, for example. So Super Maria, they did for the community.
Yep.
And they developed both in English and in Malay language. So for the interest of this session, so you can see these are the questions that they asked before and after, right? Yeah, and you see this is the answer key that they also provided, because they wanted to provide like a complete STEM kit if we were to sell it. Yeah, there were also questions like, how much did you enjoy today's activity? How would you rate the overall organization of the session? Was the time given enough? Which part of the 5E did you find most engaging? You see, they had the choose the engage part, or is it the explore, the explain, the elaborate and evaluate? How confident are you with this, the different topics that they covered? So this was some of the written questions, and then the feedback form. How well did your group work together? Because another thing I realized that when I used STEM kits, I prefer to make them work in pairs, because I felt that students are a bit scared to work individually. I realized that over time. So, were these materials enough? What role did you most enjoy? So they actually divided the students into builder, into electrician, into tester, into presenter, you see. What did you enjoy the most about today's project? What was the challenge you faced? How did you overcome it? Yeah, any suggestions to make this session even better? So these were some of the, and this pattern is repeated for all the modules. So I'm just showing you all just one of the STEM kits that I developed together with my students. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for the sharing, Dr. Uma. Maybe from Miss Panrasi, or maybe from Dr. Noel, if you have any additional.
In addition to what Dr. Uma mentioned, we can also use the GRASP model if it's a performance task, GRASP, wherein it's very clear if specifically if it's a performance task, you need to understand what's the goal of the task, okay, in the STEM project. Like if it's what's the specific goal, what's the role, who are the audience, the situation, the products, and the performance and the standards, because this will enable you as a rater to evaluate the output of our students, okay, very objectively. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. From Prof. Panrasi, do you have any additional ideas as well?
Yeah, so for me, basically, I would let the student write the one-page summary, what they explored, what they did, and actually, I follow like research protocol. Start with the problem statements, and try to make them understand the like empathize people to understand the problem exactly. So it's like an integration about like the design thinking process and the research methodology to teach them. And then so I would start with like problem statement and maybe the theory related or whatever that they would like to let us know about why the ideas come up and the theory related to that idea. And also we go for like your material methods, like how they develop that one in like experiments and discussion. Maybe I give the guideline about what is the flow of the writing, and it's actually up to the student level whether they can understand these like titles that okay, what is the problem statement? But actually, for the primary schools, I think they can do just try to explain to for them to make them understand what they mean in just like okay, problem statement. That is
Okay, okay, thank you so much. Also, Prof. Parnasi, hopefully this answered your question, Mr. Maulana. And then now we will move on to the second question. We have a question from Miss Nur Sakina binti MD Saleh from College Community Kuala Langat, Malaysia. And the question is how to stay current with technology trends in education, like maybe how to keep up with the updates, I guess. So, anyone? Dr. Uma again, maybe?
Okay, thank you for the question. This is Dr. Nur Sakina, a very good friend of mine. I shared with
Okay.
her the poster just today, and she's always been very supportive of me. So thank you, Dr. Nur Sakina, for the question. To stay current with technology trends, what I do is I subscribe to a lot of online newsletters. So they get delivered to me via emails. And if I have time, I actually go through. So newsletters from there are a lot of STEM and STEAM groups abroad, and every month or every 2 weeks they actually produce newsletters and telling what's new, the new technologies or new trends or new programs. Those things can give us an idea. Another thing is like my the grant which I got, the IEEE Try Engineering grant. So they also they also have new lesson plans, new things. So yeah, so I think to me is to be always be well read and be well informed, is to subscribe to different newsletters, of course YouTube, and also talking to different people. There are a lot of webinars now. I think post pandemic there are still a lot of webinars that we can join. I think that's also another way that I keep myself occupied, and also keeping with new technology trends, because being in this field, you especially like Dr. Noel and Dr. Panrasi, I think we have PhD students that we want to train them, and master students to train them. I think it's really good that we are one step ahead always, to make them feel that, because I always tell my students, just because we have a PhD doesn't mean we know everything. We have to show them that learning is a lifelong process, and seeking knowledge and being curious and all things that I would like to inculcate to my students. So that starts from me. It starts from me. So I show them that, I show them new things during classes. Yeah, just to keep them have that same spirit that I have. Try to do that with them. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Uma. Maybe from Dr. Noel again, like any additional?
Yeah, similar to what Dr. Uma and Dr. Panrasi telling to us. It's very important that we need to connect with experts, okay?
Mhm.
And it's not a guarantee that even if you are a PhD holder, it follows. So you really have to have mentors also. Okay, could be a mentors from the local community or a mentors across the globe, and join with talks like similar to what we're actually doing. It's a way for us to keep abreast and keep updated of what's in terms of technology and education.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Noel. And I guess Dr. Panrasi also would love to add. Oh, I think you're muted, is it?
Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, yes.
I think because I'm like from engineering, I'm like actually I'm an AI researcher, so I'm in the field. And basically, that I would suggest is that I usually was invited to be a speaker and train teachers about how to use AI. And it's of course teachers normally use generative AI, right, to develop the lesson plan, course content, questionnaire, whatever. So I would suggest you guys use the same tool. You can ask generative AI as well, like ask ChatGPT, ask Claude, Perplexities, or the tools that you are familiar about. Okay, if you would like to do these things, what the AI tools can help you? And they will suggest a lot of tools, and then you try to understand what is that, what's that, what's that. And I think that is very simple and quick for everyone that can start. And then you talk to your community, create your communities to share and learn whether it's good, because somehow is we are in the era that the teacher use ChatGPT for planning, the student use ChatGPT for answering. So who learns? Who actually we may confuse the roles of ourselves, and students confuse their roles too. So we have to optimize the use of technologies. That is the key.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Panrazi, as well for the answer. And hopefully it helps Miss Nur Sakina for your question. Okay, now I'll move to the chat room. So I saw a question coming from Nick in the chat box here. Like Nick is asking about do we have specific STEAM projects for grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9 or senior high school? For example, if it is robotics or Arduino, should it be required at least in grade 8 and 9? Can you give some insights for this, or do we have to create guidelines? Maybe it's more like specifically or how to categorize the materials maybe, and also some steps in creating the STEAM activities or STEAM projects for the students. Okay, maybe Dr. Noel, maybe?
Yeah, what we are actually doing in our basic education, we integrated it in the curriculum. Okay, like in grade 7 in the ICT, there are simple concepts that are being taught among our students, like the simple coding technique. Okay, then it leverages it. It becomes complex when they reach grade 8, grade 9, and grade 10, because the expectation at the end of grade 9 is that they have to have an understanding of the basics, even the basics of robotics. And we only amplify it by sending some teachers to attend to advanced robotics training, because in the Department of Education, it's only the basics of robotics that are being given to our students, because it's basic education. So like what I've said earlier, we partner to some universities and some colleges who have expertise in terms of robotics, in terms of coding. So that's how we do it here.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Noel. Maybe from Dr. Uma. Is there any?
Okay, so in the Malaysian education system, we have not all schools offer this, but we have a subject called Basic Computer Science, called Asas Science Computer, and this is taught from Form 1 to Form 5. So it has already been mapped what students learn in Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, until up to Form 5. That means from 13 to 17 years old. So the national curriculum has it. You can actually search for it. The syllabus are all freely available online. You just have to search for if I can find it, I will put the link in the chat. So they have already mapped what a 13-year-old learns for basic science up to what a 17-year-old learns. And it's actually an exam that you can also take it as an exam, but not all schools offer it because you need to have a computer lab with at least 30 computers available, and not all schools are able to do that. So schools that do not take Asas Science Computer, they take another course called Design Thinking course, which is a bit more cost effective because a lot of things are slightly cheaper. If I find the link, I will put it into the chat. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Uma. I will keep Dr. Panrasi for the next question, our last question, okay? Okay, thank you so much, Nick, also for asking. And we are moving on to the last question that our team already gathered from the registration form. So we have a question here from R. Lana Hindriani, Dharma Mulia Christian Senior High School, Indonesia. And she would love to know, like, is there any, like, have you ever had trouble in applying the practical instructional design? And if so, what was it and how you solved it? So that maybe our fellow educators here who are planning to implement it, they know how to prevent, like, some steps to do. Yes, maybe from Dr. Panrasi first.
Okay, so for me, it's actually, I think the hard part is to handle with the attitude of learning. At least the key things are not only the students, I think for the teachers too. So in some teacher, I realized that they feel that it's like pretty overload for the new things that if we would like to let them try. And of course, if they realize that, oh, this technology is necessary and they open their mind, it will be easy, right? But in some teacher, I think it's pretty hard because of in the routine work, they have many, many things to do. So in order to integrate like new curriculum, new topics, and educate them and expect them to use it in the classroom, I think we have to work with them a little bit. So the way that I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to work with a teacher who willing to change their classroom first, because I think this is pretty easier for me to like pave the background and try to promote new things for them. And I can keep a record about like, okay, I get feedback about how they use and is there any problem, and we can work together. However, for the teachers that maybe say that, oh, it's pretty hard and have many things to do, and just like, okay, wait until you have to do. Because I think at that time, everything will force them to learn the technology. And that is what I think is the harder than teaching students, because students we know they like technology. It's pretty easy for me to like encourage and grasp attention from the students to learn in STEAM. However, harder is like teacher. That is.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Panrasi. And maybe from Dr. Noel.
In our place, like if there's a certain program not basically instructional design that's being implemented. I guess it's but normal for a teacher to resist because sometimes they don't entertain change, and change to them is something odd. Okay, something odd. So, what we did is we explained to them that they need to change and to innovate because it's part of the ever-changing landscape in the educational arena. If you are stuck to the usual thing, the traditional way of doing it, then there's no room for improvement, and it defeats the purpose that learning has to be continued. Learning has to be a continuous process. So, uh, in addition to Miss Panrasi has mentioned, Professor, the very thing that we do is to instill to the minds of our students, to our teachers, that there's a need for us to change, because change will always be for the better of our students. So teachers' perception are being addressed by exposing our teachers to the pros and cons, why there's a need for us to change, introduce some instructional design, and what are the benefits. So we bank on some research findings that are grounded not only in the local practice but international practice as well, because we are in the Asian country. So of course, there are countries which are ahead in terms of practices. So we really have to reflect in mirror on what they are actually doing, and hopefully we can adapt it. And little by little, because of our constant efforts of explaining to them the pros and cons of doing it, they eventually embrace the change. I guess it's the most important thing that we have to keep amongst our teachers, and ensure that no matter what happened, we are really here to provide them expertise and technical support whenever they need the most. So I guess that's the most important that we have to do.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Noel. Really a great insight for us. But unfortunately, our time is very limited. So we have to say, like, this is almost the end of the session of the Educators Meet Talk 32nd edition. But I guess before we dismiss the session, there will be a Wi-Fi time. So would like to invite everyone. Hopefully you are comfortable with your camera on. So we will take some shots, and I think our administrator will help taking the shots.
Okay, is everyone ready? Come on. Okay, I see some people trying to open up their camera. Come on, everyone. Show me your beautiful faces. I know it's a bit late in some of your places. Okay, no one? Okay, then I will do it in 3, 2, and 1. Oh, whoops, again. In 3, 2, and 1. Okay, please, we do it one more time. In 3, 2, and 1. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you so much as well, once more, for our distinguished speakers, for all of your insights, sharing to us, okay, regarding your implementation in your institution. So it's really a great sessions. I feel more energetic as well, like get more spirits to implement with the students. I believe the other participants as well in their schools or institutions. And yeah, now before we dismiss the session, we have this feedback form. So please kindly scan or click on the link that we just dropped. So we will really need this feedback so that we will keep improving to the next sessions as well. And we have this Educators Meet Talk monthly. So it's usually the last week of every month on Friday at 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. If you have any speakers, they are great in implementing certain good practices. So you can also nominate the speakers to us, and we will be happy to reach them. Okay, so I think we will give a bit time for the participants to complete the form. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for everyone for staying until the end of the session. So take care and see you in our next session. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Mhm.